So good afternoon, dear students. Today we are going to study about shear force and binding moment. Okay? So we will learn the definition of shear force, the definition of binding moment, and the sign convention for the shear force and binding moment. So to start with, first of all, uh, as we have already studied that there are different types of loads like dead load, light load, wind load, earthquake load. Okay, so this basically shear force that comes under your dead load, and dead load is nothing but the load which is acting, which is of the self weight of a particular structure. Okay, and light load that is because of the movable load, right? So um, we are going to study about the shear force and binding moment. The shear force is basically a force, or you can call it as the algebraic summation of unbalanced vertical force, which is acting either to right or to the left of the section. So before defining that, first of all, we should know that uh, if we have got a chopper board, and on that chopper board there is a vegetable, and on one hand we've got a knife, right? So we try to chop a particular vegetable. So what will happen? That particular vegetable will be easily chopped out. But if we talk about the force, then in the right hand, where we have got the knife, the pressure is more or the load is more, and hence the vegetable gets sheared off up the top. That means shearing is nothing but in one particular direction or on one particular side, force is more as compared to another side, right? So it is nothing but the unbalanced vertical force which is acting either to right or to the left of the section. So very simple example of a particular shear force is nothing but a vegetable being chopped at the board. Another simple example is this is a page of this is a paper, right? This is the right side, this is the left side. Now, if I want to tear this paper, I'll try to tear it like this. So you can see that on the left side, I've just have the paper in my hand. On the right side, I'm trying to apply the force. So on right side, the force is more, and because of that, the paper gets teared off. So that is another example of shearing force. So now if I want to define a shear force, how can we define a shear force? So first of all, we will write down it is defined as the algebraic sum of unbalanced vertical force acting either to right or to the left of the section. Okay, so what are the important words in this particular definition? So the important words are number one, algebraic sum of what? Unbalanced vertical force, where it is acting either to right or to the left of section. Okay, so this is the definition of a force. Now what is its sign convention? So suppose if this we have got a particular section of a beam, okay, this is a particular section of the beam, AB, and on AB in the downward direction there is a W force. Okay, and suppose if I consider this as my section XX, right? So this section XX divides the section AB into two parts. This side is right hand side and this side is left hand side. Okay, so now if the right side is subjected to a force W, so right portion of the beam will be pushed in the downward direction. So we can draw the diagram again like this, that AX will remain in its same position, whereas the BX, it will be shifted in the downward position due to the application of the force. So this sign convention where the right portion of the beam is pushed in the downward direction, shear force is considered as positive. We consider the shear force as positive. Okay, that is the right side is pushed in the vertical downward direction. Again, suppose we have got this particular section AB and it is having a section XX. Okay, this is section XX. Again, this section divides the beam into two parts, that is right hand side and left hand side. Okay, now the force on the right side is acting in such a way that it is in the upward direction. So because of this particular W force, what will happen? The right portion will be pushed in the upward direction. So what will be our figure? That the AB portion will remain same or AX portion will remain same, but the XB portion will be pushed in the upward direction. So when we push the XB portion in the upward direction, then we can say that the shear force is considered as negative. Okay. So what is the sign convention? If the right portion of the beam is pushed in the upward direction, then the shear force is considered as negative, and if the right portion is pushed in the downward direction, then shear force is considered as positive. Okay, so it is very important to mention that it is nothing but the unbalanced vertical force on either right or to the left of the section. Okay. Now we come to so basically what is the use of finding out the shear force? So you all must have seen on the site that there are these kind of figures available of mild steel. Okay, and they are being placed in a particular beam. So their main purpose is